Unbeknownst to AEG, Goldman Sachs did something else to protect itself, concluding that it could no longer trust AEG to pay off its swap contracts in full in AAA. Trench started to default. Goldman began buying protections on age itself. Goldman would later claim that this was standard practice. It always bought protection or on a counterparty. If that counterparty was victim margin calls, but it's also true that Goldman's have been done to so many deals with AIG over the years, and having served as AIG's longtime investment banker, had a deeper understanding of AIG and all its foibles than anybody's else. If anyone guessed in advance that AIG was headed for trouble, it was going to be Goldman, whatever the reason. Between August 1st and August 10th, Goldman's bought word of credit default swap on AIG, swap that would pay off in the event of an AIG bankruptcy. From all outward appearance, AIG seemed to have done remarkably well in the two blocks years since Hank Gravenhart's departure, having gotten through the trauma of Gravenhart about leaving Gate, and then the earnings estimates the company still would up, making enormous sums in both 2005 and 2006, more than $10 billion in 2005, followed by a record year in 2006 with profits that exceed and revenue that's trouble. Its total assets were around $1 trillion, while its stock, which had dropped into low 50s after Gramer's resignation, rose back to the 70s. Sociable was amply rewarded. His page in 2006 was $26.7 million. In the view of the Bird, Sullivan had earned those millions. When Greminger left with all of AIG's secrets in his head, Sullivan had been running AIG's sprawling insurance unit and had a seat on the AIG board. Thought he was often described as Greminger handpicked successor. That was will overestimate there was no one at AIG Gremberger viewed as a worthy successor. Sullivan was picked because the board knew him and because he headed the company's biggest division. Gremberger, who for a brief time remained chairman of the board, signed off on Sullivan's promotion because there was no better options. Succession planning wasn't exactly his strong suit. Sullivan knew insurance as well as anyone on AIG, but despite being a director, he knew very little about the other parts of the company, which of course was the way Gremacher had always wanted things. Nowhere Sullivan's a natural leader, a deficient man. He had joined the company at the age of 17, had never won to college, and had spent his life deriving to hand Grevenhard while he rose through the ranks. While Sullivan was preparing for the press conference that would introduce him as AIG new CEO, he kept referring to his predecessor as Mr. Grevenhard. Someone finally scolded him. "Why are you calling him Mr. Grumberger?" replied Sullivan. "I have always called him Mr. Grumberger." And yet, for a brief, stunning moment, Sullivan rose the occasions, the combination of Grumberger's departure, the restatements, and the various robes by the New York Attorney General to seek and the Justice Department were live streaming events for AIG, said someone who was there. It was like having a heart attack and stock at the same time. This person had Sullivan cited the company. He had to deal with the rating against the investment community, government investigators, and his fellow executives. He had to modify the accounts from PricewaterhouseCoopers, who were crawling over the company, and AIG employees, many of whom felt lost without Graham. He did a great job of holding on to talent, says the same person, the same calming. He was a calming influence at a time when AIG needed exactly that. He also tried to bring AIG into the modern age, expanding Mayans to upgrade the systems that Grumberger had always ignored. But in truth, these were merely cosmetic changes. What Sullivan didn't do, what he liked the capacity to do, was change at its core the silos that Grumberger um, had erected still existed. The sharing of information, especially bad news, was almost non-existent. Division had told headquarters only what they wanted headquarters to hear. There was still no systematic process that cut across all divisions the way there are at almost big companies. Divisions managers could reach for extra profits, however they saw fit, even if it entirely taken into risk, because executives didn't fear Sullivan the way they feared Germacher. They often took liberties they would never have taken under Germacher. Sullivan lacked the frauds and personality to curb their excesses.